Welcome to the Immigrant Spirit podcast. My name is Pyak. I'm the managing director of Immigrant Spirit GmbH. And today we do something unusual. Usually we have guests who offer jobs for professionals who have already quite some experience. But there's also demand, of course, for people who just want to start out in a profession, who want to learn a trade, or who finished university or finished an apprenticeship and want to make the first step into the labor market. And I'm very glad that today I have a guest who offers just such a position to us. Welcome, Daniel Belo.
Welcome.
Daniel, tell us a little bit first, where do we speak to you today? Where do we find you?
So I'm sitting pretty much in the center of Munich here. I'm living myself around 60 kilometers south of Munich, but my work is located here in the center. And if anyone has been to Munich before, you probably know the Oktoberfest, and you probably also know the Oktoberfest Wiese. And we are about 200 meters away from this Oktoberfest Wiese. So inside my office, you have a look, more or less direct look at the Bavaria statue, and anyone who has been here pretty much knows it, I think.
Okay, and that's actually, this Bavaria statue is really famous. I think even around the world, not only in Germany. You have been living and working in Munich for quite some time. Um, what do you love most about Munich?
Well, Munich is an open city. You have a lot of people traveling here. Of course, it's a tourist hotspot in Germany. Whole of Bavaria is the main tourist hotspot in Germany, I would say. So if people outside, may it be in Europe or anywhere else in the world, if they think about Germany, they mainly think about Bavaria, actually. And this is something that I put a high value on it, actually, because you have an international environment here. So a lot of young people are coming here doing their jobs. We have big companies. Microsoft is here. Amazon is having its German headquarter here. You have Siemens, of course, BMW. So it's a very international environment where you can meet a lot of people, and it has some kind of spirit, I would call it. It's a really nice place to live and to work. And I can only recommend for people coming here, at least having a look at it if they like it.
You mentioned already the big brand names that everybody knows, of course, the big corporations. And one of the challenges there is, of course, that the big brand names, they are very famous, and that's why everyone is applying for this.
Yeah.
And when I look where most people apply, very little international job seekers realize that, okay, there's the top 40, everybody knows them, everybody applies them. But below them is a huge number of successful, great organizations, companies that also offer a great career. Trivago, when you look at the very famous companies, yes, they're very well known, but because they're very well known, they get 40,000 job applications every single month.
Yeah.
40,000 for 800 jobs that they have in total now, 800 employees. But just a little bit below that line, there's hundreds of thousands of great companies who have great jobs to offer. Tell us a little bit about your organization and
Yes.
why people should fall in love with it.
Yes. So Chris announced me as managing director of AIF Solutions, which is true, but this is not the company where we are currently looking for a job. So this AIF solution itself is a very small daughter company of a GLL Real Estate Partners, which is my, I would call it, main employer. So we have founded this daughter company in order to sell software as a service, and we are very small, hopefully successful. But so let's call it big mother is GLL Real Estate Partners. And this company is nearly unknown because we are offering solely like business to business services. GLL
It's unknown, but it's not small, right?
It's not really small. No, we have about 130 employees in the whole world. Our headquarter is in Munich with like 70 or 80 people. I never know exactly. And we have offices in Luxembourg and in the United States as well, 3 of them.
Okay. And personally, you work for this company for quite some time already. Um, what is the one thing that you appreciate the most working in this organization?
Well, I'm here for about 5 years now. So I started directly after the university, and I really like that we are not extremely small, but small enough that you know everyone personally. So you can go to the CEOs, to the managing directors of the company. You will see them run around in the office, and you can talk to them anytime you want. And you won't call them Mr.
I'm
Goebel or
very
Mr.
sorry.
Kramer. You will
Uh,
just,
Daniel, I'm very sorry.
yes.
I think the connection was a little bit weak there for a moment.
Okay.
Could you please repeat it?
Yes. Is it better now? Okay, so I'm working for GLL for 5 years now, and I really appreciate that it's a small but not extremely small company. So you know basically everyone in the company after a while. And if you want to talk to the managing directors, you will see them walking around in the office, and you won't call them Mr. Goebel or Mr. Kremer. You just call them Rainer and Gerd, because that's the kind of culture we have here. It's all very personal, and everybody's really open-minded to hear your opinion and yeah, also to get to know you.
Mm-hmm. And personal is a good keyword right now. Let's use the opportunity. We have a few people watching live. So let's say hello to Man Wong, hello,
Hello?
Vinay Kumar, hello, and William Dunn, among others. And guys, let me tell you already, if you have some questions that you want to ask Daniel about this concrete position, please feel free to type them into the chat window as soon as you get them. Because we will, at the end of the interview, will take your questions and answer maybe 2 or 3 questions from the audience. So feel free to ask your questions as early as possible. Yeah, Daniel, let's talk about the concrete job that you have on offer that you want to fill. What do you need?
Yeah, we are looking for an apprentice or an employee who's right starting his career in IT. And if I talk about IT, I mean you would call it for systems IT specialist for system integration. So it's a position that is related to all the IT infrastructure we have here, and it's about maintaining it and keeping it up and running. And you will be doing pretty much anything that has to do with it. So it starts from configuring and installing computers, mounting screens, to configuring servers as well, maybe doing a little bit of programming. That's also a good thing about a company that's not that huge. You are not in a fixed department where you have a fixed task that you do for 3 months and then you walk on to the next department and do another thing. It will change from day to day. And you even might get some strange things. So it's not unusual that one of our managing directors comes around to your desk and he's having a bunch of old VHS tapes in his hand, putting it on your desk and telling you, well, I recorded 4 hours of opera here and I need to digitize it. I want to have a DVD out of it. And well, then it's your task to make a DVD out of it. And if you tell him, okay, these 4 hours won't fit onto one, we have to split it. And then you might get the task, well, then take the scene where the Siegfried is singing the high C, and there you do the cut. Even if you've never heard or seen this opera. And yeah, well, then you have to find your way around it and have a look. But yeah, that's.
But at the very least, he gives very clear instructions. So you
Yeah,
know what is the outcome that you try to achieve.
absolutely.
Mhm. So when you look at the different people that you maybe have worked with already in a similar position, what would you say, what is the most important quality that the right person for this job needs to have? In other words, what does this person do differently? What does the best person do differently from the average?
Well, he or she is definitely a curious person who is not afraid of learning new things. And it's a person that wants and is able to take personal reliability. So one of the things we put high value on is reliability and accountability. So you will not be in the situation that people will ask you again and again and again if you did your job. It will mainly be that someone is coming around telling you on the way, well, I need this and that until Thursday. And then you probably won't see him again until he's coming back on Thursday and asking you, well, I need the result now. And your answer should probably not, I did not know what to do. If you don't know, you have to ask either the person who gave you the task or somebody else, but it's really your responsibility of doing your job.
Okay. What else is important that you feel that candidates should know about this job, about the tasks first, about the actual work they have to do?
Yes. So, I mean, if we're looking for an apprentice, it's of course not required that you have all the detail knowledge in IT or in configuring computers, but an applicant should not be.
I'm very sorry, Daniel, you're breaking off here.
Okay. Tell me when I'm back again.
Oh, yeah. Now he's gone for a second. Let me use this opportunity until Daniel is coming back. Say hello to a few more people. Anindya is there. Hello, Tarek. Hello, Nabi. Hello. This episode of the podcast is exclusively about this concrete job that Daniel has to offer. So we will not talk about other professions, other jobs in other organizations. We talk about this concrete job. If you have questions about this position, please feel free to ask them right now in the chat window. Take only 2 or 3 questions at the end. Daniel, you are back. Hello.
Good. Perfect. Hello to all the people who just joined.
Daniel, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm afraid you can't hear me. Can you hear me? I can see you and I can hear you, but maybe it's not.
I'm very sorry, Daniel. We don't hear you very well.
Okay.
Connection is lost.
Is it better now?
I'm very sorry about that. It seems the connection got really, really bad. Daniel, my proposal is, if you can still hear me.
I can.
Daniel?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think we lost the connection. Hello? Chris, can you hear me? Chris?
So, are you still there? Daniel, now we can hear you again. Daniel, hello. Yeah, you see, this is all live, and that's what you get when you go live. I will give Daniel a quick call. There he is. Daniel, hey, we can see you again. We can hear you again. Daniel, we see you again and we hear you again.
Perfect. I think it was the wireless LAN. I just switched it off and plugged myself in, so I hope it's better now.
Yeah, it's perfect. Great. Unfortunately, we didn't hear anything of what you said lastly.
Okay. So, well, I heard everything that you said, but I think the last question we were at is what else, what other kind of skills and features a person should have that applies for this job. As we're looking for, well, either an apprentice or a person who's starting his career right now, we, of course, are not looking for someone who knows everything about IT, about computers, about configuring. it's more that you shouldn't be afraid of it, and you should have installed a program. You maybe should have installed a network and all this kind of things. Just a basic knowledge about IT and how a computer works. And of course, you have to be curious about learning new things. I think that's most important.
Okay. If I want to apply for this job, what can you offer me?
Well, we don't have a collective labor agreement in our company, so your salary is also a question of negotiation between you and GLL in this case. And if you want to know a little bit about what it's working for GLL, that may be your first task. Find out what is a competitive wage for such a position in Munich, and then you will know more or less what you can earn here. And that will give you a first insight how it will be working here. But we do offer a normal 30 days of vacation here at GLL you have per year, and we have a yearly bonus system, which is not guaranteed depending on the company's success, but this is quite generous, so something that's also really interesting for you.
How about stuff like finding an apartment in Munich? The rental market is very competitive. Can your organization assist with finding a job for your new colleagues?
Yes.
Not a job, what do I say? An apartment colleagues.
An apartment, yes. That's one of the main problems people are having when they come to Munich, that they don't find a job. Even professionals, actually, we have some professionals moving in from other where, and they also have problems in finding apartments.
Daniel, I'm very sorry. I need to ask you again to repeat that. It was gone for a second.
Okay. We have opportunities to help people. We own a company apartment ourselves that is just around 1 kilometer away from the flat, and it's not uncommon that people who are joining us live for a while in this company apartment. I think the longest period was about 1 year. So you can't live there forever, but for a first start, until you find your own apartment, it's quite okay. And we have some colleagues who get new offers in the flat market before it actually comes to the market. And I know that a lot of foreigners who are coming here can get to this colleague, and actually they all basically got their flats from him, because these are not in that competitive market yet.
Okay. Before we get to the questions, for those people who want to apply for this job, how should they best apply? What would you like to see from them so that you can make an informed decision if you should invite them for an interview or not?
Yeah, so people who want to apply for this job, it's best if they send an email directly to me. And I would like to have, of course, your CV and maybe some documents about your prior working experience, or your school reports, and also a short, just some short sentences why you think you are good for this job. What is your why do you think you fit into this company with this special mindset, which is not like in a big enterprise, as I said, but in a small company? And why do you think that you fit perfectly into this company?
I have two questions maybe from our audience before we wrap this episode up. And funny enough, they come from two opposing ends. Here's one question by William. He has experience in IT, in web development, but if I understand you correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, William, not a formal education in this field. Could he still apply for this job?
Yes, I think so. Web development is not directly a part of this job, but as I said, you never know your tasks of tomorrow. So let me give you an example. You might get the task that you have to do some backups of a hard drive on every Friday afternoon, and you will be shown how to do it. But if you then say, okay, I'm interested in programming and I want to write a program that does this job, and you write the program and it does the job, and then it's totally fine. But you, of course, you are reliable for it. If it works, it's perfect. If not, well, it's not so good. But it's more like you also decide how your job is going. And if something's interesting for you and you want or you see an opportunity to implement or to use your skills in your everyday job, then yeah, you might change your job as well into a direction where you say, okay, this is of additional interest for me, like development or programming.
Okay, now from the exact opposite ends, one of the most common feedbacks that expats get when they apply for a job, and many other people as well, is you are overqualified. And sometimes that's actually true. For example, Nabil here writes, I have a bachelor in computer science and 6 years experience as a web developer. So his professional background is already quite advanced. Would it still make sense for him to apply for this job?
Well, he might send a short application, but yes, the statement that he's maybe overqualified for this job would probably be true in this case. But anyhow, I would be glad to hear from you, Nabil. So if you just send me an email and tell me what you did prior, I might have a look if we have find something else for you.
And then last but not least, of course, how to get in touch with you. I feel a bit uncomfortable to posting your email address on Google because you might get a lot of spam mail. How would you like the people to reach out to? Where can they go to find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. Actually, I have a LinkedIn profile, which I think you might link below this video. And then you can send me a message there and I will reply to you and send you my real email address where you can send your application to.
Daniel Belo, thank you very much for joining us today, talking about an IT apprentice position in your organization. What is the last thing, the one question that I didn't ask you that you wished I would have asked you before we go out?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know. I think you asked everything that you need. That's somebody who wants to look for such a job knows at the moment.
Great. And then from my side, thank you very much, Daniel, for joining us today. I have known Daniel now a little bit virtually for some time, and I can just tell to everyone who is applying, if you have Daniel as a colleague, you will have a lot of fun as work as well.
Thank you, Chris, for the opportunity to present here, and it was a pleasure to be in your podcast.
See you then. Bye-bye.
See you, Chris. Ciao.